Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Prop Wiz. I'm your host, the Wiz. Today, I wanted to do a review. Well, I don't know if it's fair to say review since I'm the one that printed it. We'll say just a look at this 3D printed Batmobile that I did. Of course, this is the newest iteration of the Batmobile from the 2022 film, The Batman. Awesome film, in my opinion. I think it's a little divisive. I guess it did well enough for them to make another one. They got a part 2 coming. They also got a Penguin TV show coming out on HBO Max. Okay, I'm sorry, just Max, not HBO Max, just Max. So overall, it must have did well enough. Again, it's no secret that I loved it. I thought it was a dope film. It was a version of Batman that I thought we hadn't gotten yet. And it was the first film that I think lived up to the term The Batman. Like Batman was in like 95, probably like 98% of the film was him in costume most of the time. And I thought that was dope, man, a departure from some of the other movies. With that being said, 1989 Batman is my favorite film. I'm not one of those people that love this one and hate the other ones. The 89 Batman is my film, man. That Batmobile is my favorite Batmobile. But this one is definitely up there, man, mostly because of my love for the Dodge Charger, dude. I love the 68, 69 Dodge Charger. And not to say that this is it, man. They never came out and flat out said that this was based off of that. But obviously, there's some design elements on here that is definitely reminiscent of that Dodge Charger, man. So I think right from the jump, man, the first picture I saw, I loved it. It wasn't as Batman-y, you know, the gadgety look that I come to expect. Grew to love it. Definitely when I saw the movie, saw it in action, man. As with all the Batmobiles, the Tumbler was 1,000 times worse, man. My brain couldn't even process what the Tumbler was, what it looked like. It looked like a tank or something. It wasn't until I saw it in action in the movie that I loved it. Now this one, again, because of the Dodge design, I liked it a little bit more before the movie, but the movie is when I fell in love with it. Anyways, just taking a look at this bad boy, for the most part, first of all, I want to give shout out to Gambody. I got this off of Gambody. Yo, it's almost like I work for them cats. I'm not gonna lie, I've been downloading a lot of files, usually when it's vehicles, spaceships, cars and things of that nature. I usually go to them first, as there's other places that I go to for masks and there's other places that I go for statues. So Gambody got me with this one, man. Thought it was a cool design, even though I noticed there was some things that were a little bit off that wasn't as accurate, but for the most part, I feel like it was spot on. There was just a few little vents and stuff, and I feel like the overall shape, I feel like there was more of a curve here on the actual Batmobile. And I might be wrong, because you know I'm going off references from photos. But there was something here that looked like it was a little bit different on the actual car. With that being said, I feel like it was accurate enough. The reason why I go to Gambody, in fact, I used to go through a lot of third party. I used to go on Etsy a lot and cop, and I still do kind of. I kind of look on there, but usually when I find something on Gambody, the way it connects, dude, they just put a lot of thought in how this thing prints. They print it in the right pieces, and everything comes together in a real awesome way. Whereas in other third-party stuff or off-brand stuff, man, it just seemed like it's not as sturdy, doesn't fit as well, or it's just something awkward in that. So Gambody for me is just the reliability. And when something don't fix, being able to contact them jokers and let them know, yo, something ain't right, which has happened. I've had a piece missing and I was able to contact them and it was squared away very quickly. But anyways, for the actual print, man, I'm not going to go over detail in this video. I'll probably do some more videos in the future going through the whole process from start to finish. I feel like I've got it I got a couple of them out there with the Proton pack. I got a couple out there in general where I went through the whole process of sanding. It hasn't changed much, so I didn't want to be too repetitive and keep going over that. I probably will in the future just so there's something out there. But just the overall thing, I printed it out. I usually do a rough sand of the actual 3D print, the PLA. Then I go ahead and hit it with a spray primer, a sandable primer, man, usually sand it out. If there's any cuts or any rough spots, I'll go with a spot putty and fill in those spots. With this one, I did have a couple of issues where the 3D print, I think on the roof, and I'm looking at it now, came out nice and smooth, where I did have to use some spot putty here and there over this overall frame. You know, they had to have that look to make it look like this metal or stainless steel or whatever in the world this Batmobile was made out of. So it was important to make sure this bad boy was smooth, even though I was gonna go weather it afterwards. Now for the paint, I just hit it with a satin black. There's a couple of parts I used gunmetal gray, like the bumper and some parts of this top engine here. And then finally the actual engine on the back, I hit with a nice little chrome. I think it came out dope. If anything, if I was to go back and redo anything, Part of the engine parts I probably would have printed in resin. My resin printer was broken at the time of this. If you watch I believe it was my Star Trek video I just posted recently, a couple of months ago, my resin printer actually broke in the middle of printing that. I was able to fix it. I don't know what happened, man. I became a genius. All of a sudden was able to fix it. So I may or may not go back and print another one of these things. It actually looks fine. It's just a little bit rough. And the fact that it's the engine, the smoother you can get that, the better gloss paint we can get on there, the better that engine, more chrome like I could have made it. So now it's got this darker chrome in contrast to the actual Batmobile that looks fine, but I do think I could have made that a little bit more shiny. Other highlights too, usually I would have did the windows, also using a resin printer, using clear resin. Resin printer wasn't working. So what I ended up doing was I 3D printed out the windows, used it as a stencil in order to make clear glass out of plastic sheet. So basically just took a plastic sheet, traced the windows and just cut it out, man. Kind of used a Dremel to smooth out the edges. So that's what we used here. Actually like the way it looks. It's actually clearer than it probably would have been with the resin. I haven't been able to get my resin prints crystal clear. They've been have a little bit of cloudiness. You can definitely see through it, but nothing like this, man. So with these shapes being easy and basic, I think it's cool. Can't always do it, you know, spaceships and stuff with a cockpit. I got the N1, the Mandalorian spaceship that I'm working on now that has a cockpit for the Mandalorian as well as Grogu. Those I won't be able to use this technique. I'm gonna have to get that printer working or use some other technique like I think vacuum forming, man. Somebody left me a message about vacuum forming. I did look at some machines, man. So that's an option now. But we'll look into it. Anyway, some of the other highlights of this thing, man, it got the inside, all the little inside gadgets. Again, some of it semi-accurate, especially the inside. I feel like it has stuff like tanks, definitely stuff that I saw in the actual Batmobile, but I can tell there was some things that were off as well. But I don't think during the movie, any of us got a real good look on the inside of that Batmobile. My references was used from some of the car shows that they were taking doing the promotional stuff when they were taking the Batmobile around. They had a couple of shots of the inside. I was able to get a look at it and make comparisons. The last little step, man, that I was very happy with. One of the cool things about this, because again, looking at it on the car shows, I seen both very prestige Batmobiles where it was all clean, and then I seen a couple of car shows where they had the car and it was a little bit dirty. And of course, I think I saw the movie where they actually had 3 different versions of the Batmobile that were have various painting and weathering on it. So I definitely went with the weathering thing. Weathering to me in this thing, 3D printing, weathering is like one of the funnest things to do. The biggest problem I have is going too far, man. I'll weather the hell out of 3D print. So this one, I tried to tone it down a little bit and just left the scratches just in the places where I know just watching the movie, you knew he ran through some stuff, ran through some cars and stuff like that. So I try to put some scratches there, and again use the comparisons. A lot of references that I was able to use to add some weathering in some places I wouldn't think there would be. And then the last step was to put the mud, and that I actually did less than. I feel like on the actual Batmobile, the mud was like very aggressive, a lot more mud. I just put a little bit on it and just enough to say that it was weathered a little bit. But again, dude, the beauty of 3D printing, man, if you print one of those, you can do what you want. That's the way I wanted to rock with it, man, and I'm happy with it. But anyways, man, that's my thought. That's pretty much it, man. Again, I loved it. Gambody, if hopefully if somebody knows or are familiar with these files or just looking at these videos, if you know what I mean, it's just something about this area. I don't know if it was, like I said, curved or there's something about it that makes it look a little different, but not too much. Again, I'm probably nitpicking. But besides that, dude, I love this bad boy. This is something I can definitely make room for. I printed it for the McFarlane figure, but I think it came out too big. I don't know. Maybe it almost looks like the right size. It's hard to tell, man. It looks like it's the right size. Like he's the right size to fit in that seat, but the overall vehicle looks too big for that figure. Maybe, again, man, it's hard to tell. I will say it was a big vehicle. Seeing some of the live footage of it, it is a pretty hefty vehicle, which does make it a little bit different than the Dodge Charger 2. I feel like it's a little bit bigger, wider than some of those older muscle cars. But anyway, I think it'll look good. I don't know if I'll display it with them or not, man. I'm kind of sleep on it and see what I think. But Otherwise, man, I do think it's dope. You guys let me know what you think. You watching the video, let me know what you guys think about it. Leave me some comments. Also, if you want to speak about the movie itself, the 2022 Batman, the Batmobile, whatever, you excited about the new film? Are you not excited about it? Let me know what's your favorite Batmobile. Whatever it is, man, leave me some comments, please. I love reading them. Also, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Also, think about hitting that notify button. That way you get notified every time I drop a new video. As always, I love you guys to death, and I'll check you out next time, all right? Peace.
In here, my flows like scarecrows delivering this package of fear. Just imagine my passion plus my rap is sincere. That means when I rap in my raps, I'm fanatically clear. That's a habit above average, I'm a savage in here. That's why I'm laughing when these rappers try to extract what they hear. I'm flabbergasted at them cause of how they acting is weird. It's automatic, pure magic, how I master this fear. After this year, I'ma drop a classic in here. A classic you hear, and start clapping. A rapper you have to be near. You want the wizard master, just ask the master appear. Skills I got, you lacking, what you lacking is here. Outlasting my peers, I rap my peers. Actually there's others like me. Kids a nation, an exact mirror. Superior when we attack the ears. Electric chairs in the back, was flip the switch and just flip like that's fair. Yo, all the